Are you more Alan White or Joey Waronker? And which kit would you rather sit behind at an Oasis show? Hey, what's up friends? Jack here and welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Beats. We are looking at Oasis and a drummer who held the throne in the past compared to the drummer that holds the throne now. We're going to break down their setup. More specifically, we're going to look at Alan White's setup from the 2000 Familiar to Millions concert. And I've looked through archives and articles and even watched the concert to get a good idea of what he was using gear-wise. So here we are on Drumstructor, and this is the kit I have built of Alan's kit from that 2000 Familiar to Million concert. And as you can see here, it is a DW. And I'm actually not sure what shells he was using here. It's a beautiful blue finish here, and it's known as Blue Boa, BOA finish. And we'll start with the kick drum. This is a 22 by 18 kick drum, so a bit of a cannon, a bit longer than a lot of traditional bass drums, but cool sizing. I mean, big rock show, you're playing Wembley Stadium, big kick, you know, go for it. Here we have two rack toms, so yeah, the traditional 5-piece setup, which are fairly, positioned fairly close to the bass drum, and that was a playing preference from Alan. He reckons he could really lay into the fills having the drums positioned in that way. So here we have a 12 by 8 and a 13 by 8 rack tom. Actual same depth, just different width there. I kind of like that look too. I like the aesthetic of two drums that are the same depth. Here we have a 16 by 16 floor tom. So yeah, fairly big floor tom there too. He used what looked like a custom snare drum made by Craviotto. I don't know much about Craviotto drums, but this is a 14 by 6. Whether it was wood or metal, I could not tell, and I could not find any information on that online. But I just basically went with the color and what I could see from the concert. He is a Sabian cymbal player. As you can see here straight away, he used two hi-hats, which I thought was pretty cool. Creates a different dynamic playing either or. So let's start with the hi-hats, right? He's got a 14 hand hammered on the left, so closest to the snare. And on the right, he has a double A. So I think double A's are traditionally a bit more brighter sounding, so maybe a bit more of a high-pitched sound there for some songs. And then up here, we've got a 16 crash. I couldn't actually find any information on the actual model, but I'm leaning towards a double A. This is what I can confirm. He is using a signature Sabian ride cymbal, which is his own signature cymbal that they made. This is a 22-inch signature ride. As you will know, in those early 2000s concerts, it's probably his most dominant thing on the drum kit, to be honest, and it sounds amazing in all of his concerts. In terms of hardware, I couldn't generate any imagery or anything on this program for DW, but yeah, DW hardware to go along with his DW kit. Not sure of the heads he was using, because in that concert also, you couldn't see any logos on the drum heads. So that's Alan's kit. Watching that concert too made me really want to set up my 5-piece and get stuck back into it. I think it's underrated. We're going to jump over to Joey's kit now. And this is from the 2025 Oasis concert. As you can see straight away, we have a left-hand player in Joey Waronker. And this is an 80s Gretsch drum kit. I could not find any information on what shells he was using. But if you go onto his Instagram, official Instagram, you'll see this information here of Joey behind the kit. There's no sort of information here in his rundown of the kit of the actual shells. However, I have generated, based off that, the sizing of the drums. And we are going to start with the kick drum. So smaller than Alan White. He has a 22 by 16. So a bit smaller than Alan. Oh yeah, I forgot to say the finish is kind of like a blue oystery finish. I didn't know the specific naming, so if there's any major Gretsch fans out there that know what this finish here is, please feel free to leave it in the comments below so we can all see what it is. But yeah, I basically got the imagery and tried to sort of emulate that on this. So this rack tom, a lot bigger than Alan's. It's a 14 by 10. Which I really like. I'm a big fan of huge rack toms. Bit of a shallower floor tom than Alan's. This is a 16 by 14 floor tom. And Joey uses a custom snare drum here, which I found really interesting reading about. It's made by a company called Noble and Cooley. I'm not too familiar with them. Joey was saying in an article that he was looking for something with the supraphonic characteristics, but a bit more punch, bit more kind of, I guess, oomph to it. He ended up with a 14 by 4.75 depth drum. Apparently this one has some punch. So anyone who's seen Oasis live on this current tour, let us know what you think. Is the drum sounding good live? Has it got that punch? So that's the snare. We step up to the cymbals here, and like Alan, Joey has a signature ride cymbal, but Joey's ride cymbal is a 24-inch and it's made by Istanbul. So if there's anyone out there that has played the cymbal or even owns it, shout out to you guys. Leave us some reviews in the comments. On the right side, closest to the snare cymbal-wise, crash cymbal-wise, he has an 18-inch traditional Istanbul crash. And over here, this is a crash ride in 20-inch. So these are beautiful looking cymbals. I've never played Istanbul, but I've heard good things about them. 15 hi-hats. He uses 15 Istanbul prototype, what they call prototype. This is not the logo on top here for the prototype. This was just another model, but I just did it for kind of like display purposes. Just put the one that I could find here. Let's dive into drum heads. So Joey's using Aquarian drum heads, which I found super interesting. I haven't even seen Aquarian like at all lately. No drum shops really. Maybe because I'm so buried in Remo and such a big Remo fan. I'm blind to it. But shout out to Aquarian drum heads. So yeah, Aquarian drum heads all around. I did notice though, in this picture here, which is taken on stage, it's kind of like a bird's eye view of Joey's kit. He is using what looks like a Remo P4, Joey. What are you doing, brother? Mixing it up there, eh? The P4s sound fantastic. I use a P4. That rounds out the cymbals and the drums of Joey's. He does use a Roland SPD SX Pro next to his hi-hats, and he also has tambourines, but I didn't know how to put them in this program. Now it raises a question. Which drum kit would you rather be behind, Alan White's or Joey Waronker's? I do have to say I was a little bit disappointed that Alan didn't get the call up. You know, Noel could have called him and said, you got 6 months. I don't know, Alan, I don't know what he's doing in his personal life, but I reckon Alan could have got stage fit and been back up there with the guys. Would have been good to see him, and I know that would have made an amazing reunion. But Joey seems like he is nailing it, and I really need to dive back into his catalogue to really appreciate the guy. Alrighty, friends, if you want to see more of these iconic drum setup breakdowns, feel free to like and subscribe. Leave your suggestions in the comments below. But until next time, take care of yourselves and rock on.